I was wrong. I made a video very recently about Iman Khalif and her XY chromosomes, which has led people to believe that she is in fact a male fighting in a female's category within the Olympics. And this all came to light after she was kicked out of the Boxing World Championships last year because of her XY chromosome results, which it led them to believe that they were actually a male, not a female. And since this, obviously, Iman Khalif had a fight with Team Italy last night and had the fight, and the match ended after 46 seconds with Italy's boxer throwing her gloves down and basically walking out and basically forfeiting the fight. Since that video has gone out and since I recorded it, there has been some information that has been released, especially by the Mirror. So you can see this came out today at 16:43. And it talks about Iman Khalif and the entire situation. But it goes on to basically state that the reason that she had XY chromosomes was because of an increase in testosterone, which of course is something that can happen within females. So I'm going to play the video in its entirety, because the context of the situation is important, but then I'm going to correct my statements at the end and provide the latest information about this entire thing. So, in case you've been living under a rock over the past, couple of days, two boxers that have previously been barred from women's events were allowed to fight in the Paris Olympics. So Algeria's Iman Khalif and Taiwan's Lin Yuting were disqualified from last year's Women's World Boxing Championships after failing gender eligibility tests. So, this is pretty huge, because this is one of the issues that world athletes are now starting to face, with transgender people kind of qualifying for elite athlete status. Not that there's a problem with that, but where the problems come in is that obviously people that have specific chromosome, distinguishes, with double X being male and XY being female. So if you take a little look here, so individuals who have two X chromosomes, XX, are female. Individuals who have X chromosome and one Y chromosome are male. So this is exactly how they distinguish in elite athletics, whether you are categorized as male or female. But because of transgender and all the rest of it, sometimes people slip through the net. Now, these boxers in particular identify as women. So they were disqualified from competing with women at the global event last year, but they have been permitted to fight in the Paris Olympics. So basically, there are two different governing bodies. So the Olympics have got their own commission and governing body for how they distinguish things, and then other sports have their own individual ones. So for example, the boxing has their own, and the boxing commission stated that they weren't allowed to compete against other women because it wasn't fair. But the Olympics haven't quite got up to that level yet. So as long as you identify as a gender, you are allowed to compete within that category. So Iman Khalif of Algeria and Lin Yuting of Taiwan failed to meet the gender eligibility test at the Women's World Boxing Championships in New Delhi last year, prompting their disqualifications. But they have been cleared to compete in the World Women's 66 kilogram and Women's 57 kilogram matches in Paris this week, the IOC confirmed in an email Tuesday. So the IOC is the Independent Olympic Committee, I believe. At the time of their disqualifications, the president of the International Boxing Association, which governs the World Boxing Championships, alleged that the boxers' chromosome test came back as XY. Women typically have two X chromosomes, while men typically have X and Y chromosomes. And they went on to state, based on their DNA test, we were able to identify a number of athletes who tried to trick their colleagues into posing as women. The association's president, Umar Kremlev, told Russia's TASS news agency. At the time, according to the results of the test, it was proved that they have XY chromosomes. Such athletes were excluded from the competition. So, there's been a lot of controversy because I believe it was yesterday at the time of recording, these two, the Algerian boxer, Khalif, was able to fight in a fight against an actual woman who, biologically is a female, And her partner, or her, the woman who she fought against, actually quit after 45 seconds and said she will not be fighting, meaning that Iman Khalif was able to continue and go through to the next round based off of a disqualification. The IOC has since responded to this, and it's pretty wild. But before we get into that, the internet has not taken lightly to this. So Jake Paul, of course, is very big in the boxing world right now. It's basically stating that an absolute travesty at the Olympics. Angela Carini is forced to box against a biological male. She quit after just 45 seconds, cries hysterically as her opponent is declared the winner. So it was pretty bad. And then Jake Paul retweeted this saying, "This is sickening. This is a travesty. Doesn't matter what you believe. This is wrong and dangerous." So the reason that Angela Carini decided to leave the ring was because she stated in an interview afterwards she's taken hits from multiple people, and she said that this didn't feel like a typical female's punch, like the amount of power behind it. Obviously we can only take it that at face value. We don't know for certain, but that's what she's gone on to state. Donald Trump has responded to it, saying that he will ban biological males from competing in women's sports. Elon Musk obviously retweeted and said good. J.K. Rowling, who of course is very opinionated about these kinds of things, chimed in on the situation and said, "Could any picture sum up the new men's rights movement better? The smirk on the male whose knows he's protected by misogynist sporting establishment, enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head, whose life's ambition he's just shattered." I mean, J.K. Rowling did get called out for this because she did misgender the person. So, though I disagree that this person should have competed because of their chromosomes and stuff, misgendering someone, if they identify as female, they should still be allowed that right. A biological male defeats a women boxer in just 46 seconds in the Paris Olympics, punching her in the head. Algerian boxer Iman Khalif, who has male chromosomes and previously failed a gender test, defeated an Italian female boxer, Angela Carini. Here's a basic summary, actually, of everything so far, and it will get you right up to speed with the entire situation.
People are very upset that this individual beat this woman in Olympic boxing today. This is the winner, Iman Khalif, who was previously disqualified from the World Championships for failing to meet gender eligibility tests. You know what I mean? This is the match between the both of them. It only lasted about 45 seconds before the woman quit with a broken nose. Shortly before the fight, the International Boxing Association had actually issued a statement questioning why the Olympics were allowing not one but two athletes who had failed the gender eligibility test to compete. Notably, South Park had already predicted that this would happen because they're geniuses. This guy whose name I can't mention on TikTok, but it rhymes with paint, said, "Girl, boss your way out of this one." Logan Paul also spoke out saying, "This is the purest form of evil unfolding right before your eyes." Low IQ failed boxing promoter iDubbbz his wife threw in her 2 cents. Anyway, whose side are you on? Tell me in the comments. People are very upset that this is...
So, there you go. People are clearly upset about this. And Logan Paul, as well, was able to... get himself in hot water. We saw his initial tweet, but there was also this tweet where he said, "Oopsies, I might be guilty of spreading misinformation along with the entirety of this app. Although she's been previously disqualified for failing a quote gender test and has XY chromosomes, some sources say Iman Khalif was born a biological woman. I stand by my sentiment." And this is the sentiment, that biological men should not compete against biological women in any sport, and if you disagree, you're a sick F. And then why was Iman Khalif disqualified from the World Championships? Iman Khalif was disqualified because the gender eligibility test revealed XY chromosomes, leading to concerns about compliance with female category standards. Now, like I said, the IOC, so the Independent Olympic Committee, did respond to the outroar about it and the scandals. So they went on to state, has defended its decision to allow 2 boxers who failed gender eligibility tests to compete in Paris 2024. Algeria's Iman Khalif was disqualified hours before her gold medal bout at the Women's World Championships in New Delhi. We've already spoken about that. The IBA was stripped of its recognition by the IOC. last year over governance of finance issues, with the Olympic body turning out boxing competition in Paris itself, and it allowed both women to participate. Khalif landed a heavy punch on her opponent, Italy's Angela Carini, in their bout on Thursday, forcing Carini to quit after only around 46 seconds. After Khalif's hand was raised to signal her victory, Carini dropped to her knees in tears. Carini could also be heard telling her coach, "It's not right, before promptly leaving the arena. Carini suffered a suspected broken nose, and the 25-year-old told reporters that she had never been punched so hard in her career. The manner of Carini's defeat prompted concern and anger both in the boxing world and beyond, with author J.K. Rowling and billionaire Elon Musk voicing their opposition to the duo competing in the games. But the IOC said that the pair were facing, quote, aggression because of the arbitrary decision by the IBA. Towards the end of the IBA World Championships in 2023, they were suddenly disqualified without any due process. The IOC said, according to the IBA minutes available on their website, that this decision was intentionally taken solely by the IBA Secretary General and CEO. Some sports have limited levels of testosterone allowed for athletes competing in women's competition, while others ban everyone who is thought has been through male puberty. Differences in sex development are a group of rare conditions involving genes, hormones, and reproductive organs. Some people with DSDs are raised as female but have XY sex chromosomes and blood testosterone levels in a male range. The IOC said that the rules of eligibility were based on those of the Tokyo Games in 2021 and cannot be changed during a competition. The current aggression against these two athletes is based entirely on the arbitration decision, which is taken without any proper procedure, especially considering these athletes have been competing at the top level competition for many years. The IOC is saddened by the abuse the two athletes are currently receiving and added, every person has the right to practice sport without discrimination. In the statement, the IBA condemned instances and eligibility at the Paris Games. Both Iman Khalif and Ling Yuting post-testing did not meet the required eligibility criteria to compete within the female category of our respective events, the body added. So, what do we know now? Or what do I know now, at least? Iman Khalif, put simply, is a female. The Algerian was born female and is not registered as a transgender athlete. The Algerian Olympic Committee penned a strongly worded statement defending Khalif ahead of her opening bout. They said, such attacks on her personality and dignity are deeply unfair, especially as she prepares for the pinnacle of her career at the Olympics. They said before adding, the COA has taken all the necessary measures to protect our champion. So, what happened? Khalif was obviously disqualified from last year's Women's World Championships in India after failing to meet the IBA eligibility criteria. All the things that we've spoken about, and that has led people like high notable celebrities like J.K. Rowling, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, and basically the entire internet to believe that this woman is in fact a male. But instead, what her results show is that she has higher levels of testosterone, which would lead to an XY result in her chromosome test. So I need to apologize to you and to I'm sure she's not going to see this, but also to Khalif for getting that wrong. I did private the video and I wanted to put out an updated version to correct my wrongdoings, because I prefer to be transparent about these things. I want to be authentic. I want to be providing actual facts as opposed to what the media is telling us. And the actual facts is that she was actually born a female. So, again, I deeply apologise for getting that one wrong. And moving forwards, well, I'll try to get the latest and most up-to-date information. But, yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.